Okay. My name is Mateboho, and my surname is Victoria. My company name is Voice Out Deaf. We're doing agriculture, early child development training, tourism, and help the deaf community to access information. Yeah, in a basic nutshell. Okay, my customers are different customers. I've got Pick and Pay. I've got Mama's Food and Veg. Normally also sell to street vendors and spa. Normally communication, it's a challenge, but now I had a person with that I had to teach basic sign language for him to be able to communicate with customers and understand the customer. But it was difficult before, but now at least I managed to actually solve the communication issue. You can learn sign language basically you want to learn from French University, or there are other deaf schools where you can go and learn sign language. We also have private lessons that she normally offer there to teach people how to sign. South Africa is difficult. There are few where they have like apps but not full information where people can learn sign language. Most Americans, they have apps that can basically access sign language. Meaning you need more apps that can be developed to be able to help people to learn sign language. Okay, my challenges. Access to information. Normally, when deaf have to approach customers, you must always have an interpreter. And very expensive. They are more about plus minus 450 per hour to pay interpreter. And when she goes alone, especially government department, there are no person who basically know how to communicate in sign language. And now to solve that issue, she had to teach somebody to learn sign language because it's difficult to afford for any deaf person to afford to pay interpreters. Normally teaching a person, another person sign language for me to be able to travel with him and so that he can help with the communication challenges. Honestly, it's a very difficult thing. But having a person like every day, then that's something that able to help me. Okay, basically I normally try to help, especially from my side. A lot of deaf people, their education level, they have a basic education level, they didn't finish school. And my company, I try to make sure I train the deaf community, especially it's difficult for government to help, especially with full information. But my company just try to make sure any deaf community didn't finish school, that at least I give them work opportunity and teach them basics of sign language. But I've never received any funding to make sure that I train the deaf people. It's difficult. You have to adjust to their level when you communicate with them. But now they are actually slowly improving. Simple basic education, most in the rural. It's difficult for deaf community to access any information. There are no interpreters. Interpreters are expensive, and yeah, that's basically the difficult side of it. And it's a very challenge for them. And she decided to help herself, then include helping the deaf community. You know, it's difficult, especially starting just to start registering the company. Remember, the government, they don't have any access to communication. Just simple thing as registering a company. You know that's why when you go, like starting yourself to make sure like you register the company. Like for me, the next person to come and help, and then I have other deaf people that she's basically helping to register their own businesses. She had to learn herself and transfer the skill to other deaf people. Okay, before, when I saw GEP, I didn't know what is it all about, and didn't have any single information about GEP. But luckily, I had a person who was very passionate about supporting the deaf community, and that person had to teach that person sign language, and help me with more information, explaining what GEP is all about. And then I said, okay, and I think why not try and go there and see. But the people don't know sign language, yeah, but they're very nice people. They actually try most of the time to actually communicate, even though it's not simple. But always had a person who's always helping. Then started helping with the form and how to register. Then also my workers, for how the GP helped me. Like it was a nice thing, a nice support that we got. What I did, I bought bicycles and equipment. Then to help the deaf community. Remember the challenge with transport issues. When you use a taxi, it's difficult for the person to tell the driver, please, I'm getting off at this place. Remember, the farms are difficult to access, especially with public transport. Now I try to give the deaf people the bicycles from the GEP so that they can travel comfortable and safe. And other equipment that they got in terms of agriculture. It was excited for them to just a simple thing to actually have. Okay. Remember, deaf people normally depending on their sight every day. And that also, they've got a lot of skill. You know? It's just the problem, they don't know how to use or access most of the skill that they have. Remember, information, you don't know where it's difficult to access. They can basically do anything. They can act. They can basically do anything. They can start businesses and learn information, but they don't know where to go. Then I have to help and advise how to basically use their skills. Okay, normally GEP help me when there's anything workshop, network session, they call me. Then they also sponsored with the bicycles for my workers and also other trainings for anything that is happening normally, especially with the COVID. The COVID relief support, they called in so that I can come and apply for the COVID relief support. You know, normally how we can actually help GEP, make sure that we create a separate link to help the deaf community. That's basically how we can work and partner with them. And in the future, like make sure that we bring more people in the deaf community, then GEP can be able to come and help them. The message for the deaf community, I want to be able to support the deaf community to be able to start their own business, how to connect, also hoping the government can have a full support, focusing specifically on the deaf community, give them more information and access to, especially from the government side, so that they can be able to empower the government. Also have a message to, they must learn to stand on their own network and all the challenges that they are facing, they'll be able to start their own businesses. The only problem, it's the barrier to communication.